Hey there, friends. It's Shango from Shaping Fire, and I'm here with my good friend Dan Jimmie from Mandalorian Genetics. And a lot of you have noticed that Dan has been kind of teasing that he has a big announcement coming, and today is the day. So we're here on my patio for him to let us all know. So Dan, what's the story? What's the big news?
I guess we'll get into it, Shango. We are going to go through a name change. And actually, as of today, it'll be the name going forward. We're going to be switching to Gnome Automatics. And I think it's a good direction, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for the company.
So Mandalorian Genetics is a cool name, and we've all grown to love it. And, you know, a lot of people, call you Dan Mandalorian. It must have been a hard choice to decide to leave Mandalorian as a brand and switch to anything at all.
Absolutely. It's honestly one of the hardest decisions I think I've made over the last couple of years with the brand. And I think it's also one of the smartest moves that we could have done. We want to embrace the change, grow as a company, and having Mandalorian as a name moving forward as we grow could be potentially dangerous for the company.
Yeah, I can see how there'd be a threat because, the Disney folks have got lawyers.
They do have lawyers. They probably have lawyers for those lawyers. So I think to sidestep and move forward, it's the best thing we can do.
Yeah, it's often a good move for small business owners like us. Just kind of avoid that whole shtick.
Yeah.
So even though you liked the Mandalorian Genetics name, you're moving on to Gnome Automatics. What is it about the name Gnome Automatics that you identify with?
Mostly the gnome side. The gnome side, my cousin and I have joked for years that I'm the gnome, as I'm the shorter one of the two. And most of you guys know that my cousin and I run the Mandalorian page and the Mandalorian Genetics side of things. And he's always kind of called me a gnome, and he's also 6'4", so it's kind of fitting. So I kind of identify that with that for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I think the gnome side is, embodying me into the brand a little bit more, making it more original. And then the automatic side is, it's a twist on the word autos because that's where our primary focus is. We do work with photoperiod plants, but the automatics is something I've embraced for a long time. So I think the marriage of the two is really good for the brand.
Right on. Not only that, it's definitely where you built your reputation.
Exactly. It's where I came from. It's where I've, showed passion for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm. So, some people might be curious because, if you look across the entire country, there are a couple different cannabis companies that use the word gnome. Do you have any concerns about brand confusion or anything like that?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure there may be a little bit at first, which is fine. But I think with that tie-in with the Gnome Automatics and the way that we advertise, I think people will get a clear picture. And this video helped too. It makes it more intimate to all of our followers and all of our customers that they get a clear picture of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, you've always been really big with the outreach with your customers, right?
Right.
Like a lot of folks in the cannabis industry, they make pronouncements to their fan base and they don't really include them. But when you reached out to me, you're all like, I don't want to make this name change without everybody who follows the brand knowing why, and so that they can come along for the ride. And I think that speaks a lot to how you interact with everybody by kind of embracing folks,
Right, and that's where my heart is too. Is I like to embrace. I like to be one-on-one, and for lack of a better term, intimate with my customers and the consumers of the seeds. And it's just one more step in the right direction.
Yeah. So, do we all need to change where we follow you on social media? Do we have to move over to a new Instagram page, or are you going to be able to keep the same Mandalorian pages and just change the name?
We're going to be able to keep the same Mandalorian page, and change the name, because fortunately with the Gnome Automatics pairing, we had a lot of options to go down that road. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to keep the confusion low. And then of course with the full duplex page, myself, you'll be able to see all the work and everything coming out from there too.
Right on. So, so the Gnome Automatics page is up today, right?
Correct.
Right on. And so if you want to get on the new mailing list that is going to be dedicated to Gnome Automatics drops, they should go to gnomeautomatics.com, right?
Correct. And if you misspell it, we got those domains too. It'll redirect you to the right spot.
Right on. So Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to have a sit down with me. We're really excited for this name change. not only does it make sense as you grow as a company, but I can imagine that you're excited about diving into all this new gnome-related artwork too.
I am. I'm thrilled about it. I'm really looking forward to what we can do with it. There's a lot of good artists out there that have done the work. We have the labeling. We're waiting to finish up on our illustrated version, but I think it's going to be exciting for everybody.
Right on. So thanks for joining us this morning here on the porch. And why don't you go ahead and check out gnomeautomatics.com and sign up for the newsletter right now so you can find out where the new drops are taking place. Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you, Shango.
Right on.